Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered what shamanism is? Have you ever wondered what is involved within shamanism? Well, today I'm at Dundee Park to speak to Martin Duffy, the director for the OakTree Charitable Trust, and also one of the main people involved with the Irish Centre of Shamanic Studies and the Transpersonal Institute, also known as Shamanism Ireland.
Dundee Park here, we've been here for 12 years now. I was very fortunate to meet a very special lady called Lorna St. Alban. We set up the OakTree Charitable Trust. We bought this place and we created it into an open space for people to come and heal in whatever way was right for them. People say when they come here that they feel like they're coming home, that it's a special place where they feel non-judged, they feel accepted, and they feel that no matter what goes, it's okay. And it is. Because I'm a great believer that when you put aside your own ideas of what healing is, or and put the theories aside and meet the person, and all we're looking for really is love, every one of us, and love, and it's not to be cliched about this, but it is what heals. Like the shaman heals by contacting the collective consciousness or spirit to mediate healing for the individual, and that can mean different things. There's three main forms of healing that the shaman does. First of all, power loss, then intrusion, and then loss of soul. Power loss really is when a person, an individual, becomes depressed, their immune system might be compromised, they have a run of bad luck, and they generally feel, not in good form and disempowered in life. What the shaman will do then is work in non-ordinary reality to kind of, if you like, plug them back in to the matrix of the collective energy that's in the universe, that we're all part of, we're all connected. Because the shaman believes that we're all part of the one consciousness, and that sometimes we can believe that we're detached from that. So typically what a shaman will do is go on a journey into the lower world, which is a beautiful place in nature in the other world. It might be in the forest, in the mountains, or on the beach, and contact the spirit animal for that person, which is kind of like the mediator for that person to connect back to their own power. And then you bring it back and he'll blow it into the person's heart and into their crown chakra to, as I say, connects them back into that matrix of energy. Now the second modality of healing in shamanism is intrusions. And the shaman tends to see that as an energy system that's out of place. And what they will do is they'll do a journey, they'll identify what the intrusion is, and then to do what they call as an extraction. That is, they physically remove the energy source that's causing the illness. And now that sometimes manifests as different forms of energy. Now the other modality of healing in shamanism is what we call soul retrieval. Because sometimes when there's a trauma, the soul fragments, part of the soul goes off into what we call the other world, non-ordinary reality. It's really a survival strategy, because if the person was fully present in that moment, at that time, when, say, they were being sexually abused or doing a road traffic accident or some other trauma, then the psyche could fragment completely and they may not be able to come back together again. So part of the psyche or soul detaches. In psychology we call that disassociation. Unfortunately, sometimes that part doesn't come back and reintegrate. So what the shaman will do, or the shamanic practitioner, will do a journey, find that lost part of the person in the other world and bring it back again. Another very important aspect of shamanic work is working with death. The shaman is a psychopomp, meaning that they escort the souls of the dead across from life, across into death and into the spirit world, because they believe that the soul is immortal. The world of the shaman exists in three dimensions. The lower world they talk about is a place in extreme natural beauty, like the earth would have been 1,000 years ago, in the forests, on the beach, in the mountains, and where the animals are wild and everything is free, uncontaminated earth really. Then we have the middle world, which is this reality here, and the shaman works there for divination, working by going back in time to work with the ancestors, or in fact you can journey forward in time as well, because shamanism doesn't have any limitations on where the soul can journey to. And then you have the upper world, which is the more ethereal space. It's like what people would experience as the heavenly realms. And you journey there to meet spirit guides that for some people appear as angelic beings or light forms or light sources or whatever. And the reason we journey there is to contact wisdom and knowledge from the bigger picture, the bigger story. Now, when I mention journey, what I mean is this. The shaman journeys through the mind's eye into the world of the imagination to experience the collective consciousnusness where all knowledge and information is available. But anybody can do it. There's no limitations on anybody in that regard. For example, the journey is no great mystery. Everybody can do it. Sometimes a little bit of fear around it because we think, we were told, that the earth is flat, and if you go so far you fall off the edge of it. It's very much like in this work too, until you try it. To move into these non-ordinary states that we talk about, we use different tools. The drum particularly. And if you ever listen to the shamanic drum beat, it's got a beat 4 to 7 beats per second. It's kind of a boom, 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 monotonous rhythmic kind of tone. And what happens then is that the brain has this frequency following response, and it tunes into that, and then you go into a deep trance or meditative state. Because sound vibration actually lifts your own energy field, as we find in lots of different fields. Now the rattle is also using sound, and it's often used because a big part of the shaman's role is ceremony and ritual. So for opening sacred space, they use a rattle to call in the direction of north, east, south and west, the upper world, the lower world. The rattle is also used for somebody, say, who's carrying heavy energy or is depressed. They rattle around them. Again, the auric field or the bioenergy field can carry heaviness or energy. So the sound kind of breaks that open and allows the natural healing energy of the person to come through for life. I mean, I grew up in the countryside. I love nature. I love being out in the wilds. I saw my grandfather, who was a folk healer, healing people, and people coming to my mother's house and the same. And I just saw the joy that brought to people. I saw the suffering that people would have gone through, and that touched me deeply. And something in me got changed, and I felt that I wanted to help others, because I felt that I had been helped myself and that I had been privileged in some ways. And part of the training for a shaman is what we call the wounded healer. You have to go in search of your own healing in order to be a healer yourself. And I have a childhood experiences like other people have, where I got wounded and hurt. And it was then that I realized that other people went through those experiences too. So I trained in nursing, in psychiatric nursing, thinking I want to find the answers there, and I didn't. And then I went on to look at counselling and psychotherapy. And what I realised was that I was in this for myself to begin with, that I needed to look at my own issues and to work on healing myself. And I got a great lift out of that, because I realised that issues I carried from childhood didn't have to be with me forever, that I could work on healing. That's when I realised something really, really special. And this is what really enthused me about shamanism, was this idea that it's our woundedness is our greatest strength and our greatest gift. That if we can address that and work with that, it teaches us so much about healing. And then when I went to work with Stan Groff, the first thing I had to do was get down on the mat and do my own business. And we had to do, so like 150 hours of personal breath work in order to qualify. And that was the main part of the training. It wasn't so much the book work, but it was our own personal work. And we were assessed on how we grew as people and how our personal development was. What I love about this work, as is shamanism being spiritual democracy, people come and do my courses here. They go home with a CD of the drumming, and they don't need me anymore, because they have, I'm not their teacher really. Their teachers are their inner guidance, and the spirit teachers they meet on their journeys. And anything they need to know, they can go and consult with them. And I love that.